I may look like just another stuntman, but what I live for is the thrill, the hunt. You think you're safe, laughing, dancing, driving your pretty little cars. But when you're strapped into my ride, safety is the last thing on your mind. Buckle up, cause this is where the real fun begins. I've been watching them for hours. Austin was a good place to blend in, a city filled with people who don't look too closely at a man like me. Stuntman Mike, that's what they used to call me. My car, she's still a star. My beautiful, death-proof beast. The first time I saw them, it was a casual glance, a quick scan of the street, nothing special. But then I saw her, Julia. She stood out like a flame, drawing the others into her orbit. Loud, confident, always moving. And her friends? Shauna, so carefree. And then there was Arlene, the one they called Butterfly. She didn't shine as brightly as the others, but she had something that made me want to look closer. I could see it in the way she moved, that slight hesitation, like she wasn't sure of herself. That intrigued me. I followed them from a distance, letting my car do the work. Smooth, quiet, the engine purring under my control. I didn't need to rush. The night was young. They had no idea I was there, just a shadow in the rear view. That's how I liked it. Silent, patient, waiting for the right moment. Garrow's Tex-Mex bar. That's where I decided to make my move. The place was packed, the air thick with laughter and music. I slipped in, unnoticed, and sat at the bar, my eyes on them. I didn't have to do anything. Just watch. Let them get comfortable. Let them feel safe. I blended into the background like I always do. A predator in plain sight. Julia was in her element, drawing attention like she was born to it. I could see why people were drawn to her, but it was Arlene who held my focus. I listened as Julia teased her about that bet she'd made on the radio. It was all a game to them, a joke. But to me, it was an opening. I could feel the tension building. I knew what was coming, and it made my pulse slow down, steady. That's when I moved in. Stuntman Mike, I introduced myself. They laughed at first. My approach was awkward, I'll admit it. But I liked that, the way it disarmed them, made me seem harmless. They couldn't see what I was really thinking, what I was planning. I could feel Arlene's eyes on me, and I knew she was uncomfortable. But she played along, just like Julia wanted. That's when I recited the line. Julia had given me the key, and I used it to unlock the door. Arlene froze, caught off guard, but she couldn't back out. She owed them that dance. I watched her as she hesitated, then moved toward me. The music changed, slow and sultry, and she began to dance. There was something in her eyes, something she couldn't hide. Fear, maybe? Or just uncertainty. I leaned back, letting her movements fill the space between us. The tension was thick now, like a rubber band stretched to its limit, waiting to snap. But I didn't rush it. I let it build, let it simmer. That's how I liked it, drawing it out, savoring every second. She danced and I watched, but my mind was already on what would happen next. The car, the crash, the screams. I could picture it all so clearly. As Arlene's dance came to an end, I could see her relief. I leaned forward, gave her a slow smile, and for the first time, let her see a glimpse of what was behind my eyes. The man who was about to turn their lives upside down. I watched them leave the bar, their laughter echoing in the night air, oblivious to the danger that was closing in. Pam was easy. She'd been sitting alone, looking for attention, maybe some validation. I gave her that. I knew how to make myself seem harmless, almost charming in that awkward way people find disarming. I offered her a ride, and she accepted, not knowing she was about to step into my world. My car, a death-proof weapon made just for me. Once she was inside, everything shifted. I could feel her relax at first, thinking it was just another ride home. But I couldn't hide the thrill anymore. I let my mask slip, revealing a little more of who I really am. The smile on her face faded the moment she realized this wasn't just a ride. That's when I told her, this car is death-proof, but only for me. Her eyes widened, and panic set in. She wasn't ready for what came next. I slammed on the gas, the engine roaring as I swerved violently, throwing her against the harness, her body crashing against the interior. Her screams were lost to the roar of the car, to the rush of my own adrenaline. I taunted her, feeling the fear radiate from her, savoring it. I pushed the car faster, harder, knowing the end was near. When I slammed on the brakes of my car, the impact was brutal. Pam was gone, but the thrill lingered, and I felt alive in a way I hadn't in a long time. That feeling, it's addictive. I needed more. Julia, Arlene, Shauna, they were next. I found them on that dark, deserted road, my headlights catching their car in the distance. They had no idea I was behind them, no idea I'd been following them, watching them. The cat and mouse game was about to begin. I crept up behind them, letting them feel that faint unease, the sense that something wasn't right. Then, I made my move. I rammed their car hard, the impact jolting them into a deadly spiral. I could see it in their faces, the shock, the confusion, and finally the terror. I didn't slow down. It was a beautiful sight, the chaos, the destruction. In those moments, I felt invincible. The women didn't stand a chance. One by one, they were gone, just like Pam. The next morning, the cops poked around, but there was nothing they could pin on me. The sheriff had his suspicions, sure, but there was no proof, just a tragic accident. That's what they called it. But me? I walked away with just a few scratches, ready for the next hunt. Time passed, but I couldn't shake the need for another thrill. Another group of women, another opportunity. This time it was Zoe, Abernathy, Kim, and Lee. I watched them from a distance, just like before, but these women, they were different, stronger. They weren't like the last group. They worked in the film industry, and they knew their way around stunts and cars. It was almost too perfect. A new challenge, a real test of my skills. Zoe, the stunt woman, was a thrill seeker like me. She wanted to do something daring, recreate a stunt from vanishing point, riding on the hood of a 1970 Dodge Challenger. I followed them as they tracked down the car, watching their excitement build. They had no idea I was there, that I was already planning my next move. As they sped down the highway, Zoe clinging to the hood, I saw my chance. This was going to be fun, but this time, they wouldn't go down easy. I could feel it. They were tougher, more prepared, but that only made the hunt more thrilling. The road stretched out before us, and I tightened my grip on the wheel. This was going to be a ride they'd never forget. The moment I saw that Challenger on the highway, I knew this was it. The thrill shot through me like a jolt of electricity. I tightened my grip on the wheel of my Nova, the engine growling under my control. I'd stalked them long enough, studied their every move, and now it was time to make my presence known. These women had no idea what was coming, but soon enough, they would. The deadly game was about to begin. I caught up to them easily, my black Nova a sleek predator hunting its prey. Without warning, I rammed the back of their car, watching as Zoe, still clinging to the hood, fought to hold on. The adrenaline surged in my veins. This was a moment I lived for. The look of terror, the split-second realization that everything could go wrong. It was intoxicating. My focus was on the road, on the feel of my car connecting with theirs. Each time I hit them, the Challenger swerved, Zoe struggling to maintain her grip. Kim, behind the wheel, was desperate to regain control, but I wasn't making it easy for her. This wasn't like before. These women weren't about to go down without a fight. That made it even better. I rammed their car again and again, each hit sending shockwaves through the highway, the roar of engines and screech of tires filling the air. It was raw, primal, the kind of chase that gets under your skin. And I was winning, or so I thought. Kim wasn't just any driver. The way she handled the Challenger, it was a masterclass in driving. But it wasn't just her. Zoe, clinging to the car like her life depended on it, was calm, resilient. I could see it in her eyes. Fear wasn't going to break her. Then, after what felt like an eternity of near misses and collisions, they pulled a move I didn't see coming. Kim managed to drive me off the road. That was fun as hell, but she saw her chance. In a split second, she pulled out a gun. I didn't even see it coming. The next thing I knew, there was a sharp pain in my arm. I felt the burning sensation shoot through me. Zoe landed safely in a field nearby and scathed. I felt something shift inside me. This was different. These women weren't going to run. They weren't scared. They were ready to fight back. And that's when everything changed. Instead of fleeing, instead of being terrified like the others, Zoe, Kim, and Abernathy regrouped. I saw it in their eyes, the determination, the anger. They weren't prey anymore. They were hunters. They were coming for me. I had never been in this position before. I had always been the one in control. But now, they were the ones chasing me. The tables had turned, and I could feel the pressure mounting. They came after me. The chase that followed was like nothing I'd ever experienced. The tires screeched, the cars tore through the rural Tennessee roads at breakneck speeds. Every turn, every swerve felt like a life or death decision. I pushed my Nova to the limit, but they were relentless, determined to bring me down. The roar of their engine behind me was like a predator on my heels. And for the first time, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: fear. They forced me off the road. My Nova, my death-proof machine, couldn't save me this time. I crashed, the impact violent and unforgiving. I crawled out of the wreckage, wounded, shaken. For the first time, I was the one on the run, and it hit me, but they weren't done with me. Zoe, Kim, and Abernathy surrounded me, and I knew what was coming. I could see it in their eyes, the fury, the need for revenge. They didn't hesitate. They beat me, hard and fast, each blow landing with the weight of their anger, their desire for justice. In those final moments, I felt it all slipping away. The power, the thrill, the control. It was gone. And then, with a final, brutal strike, Abernathy ended it. My reign of terror, my game, it was over.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe for more content like this.